Day. NFL draft's going to come to Pittsburgh this year, and they're going to have plenty to cheer about. They picked 21st overall in the first round. They have their own second-round pick, 3 picks in the third round, another 2 in the fourth. Obviously, they could package those and move up. Overall, the Steelers with 12 picks in the draft in their hometown, the most of any other team. So how should they use that mix field of like those early and those late picks?
Right, Hannah, I think the question is, do you truncate those picks, try to move up and navigate the draft board, or do you try to use all 12 of them? I definitely lean towards the latter because while the Steelers' defense at its best had brilliant moments this past season, it's not even sneaky anymore. They're just getting old, right? Some of their best players are either, we know Cam Hayward in his late 30s, TJ Watt in his 30s now. Like, these guys are no longer, new kids on the block. Yeah, Jalen Ramsey.
And expensive.
They need to find ways to get a pipeline of talent onto the defensive side of the ball that's younger. And I truly do not believe, as long as the Rooney family is owning the Pittsburgh Steelers, that this team will ever take gap years where they say, we're going to gut the van and start from scratch. So they got to be proactive in addressing needs before they become obvious needs. The draft is the perfect vehicle to do that. They've had a lot of success doing so, Swagoo. I'm in on building out the depth rather than just going for 3 or 4 difference makers this upcoming draft.
Babyface, I 100% agree, but they need to try to figure out how, if Ty Simpson is available, if they need to move up a spot or 2 to get him, they have to. It's time to rip the Band-Aid off at quarterback and see if you can get a young guy to usher this franchise into the future. Look, man, I work on Monday Night Countdown, and you go to Pittsburgh, this fan base is absolutely phenomenal. And they're going to show up with them yellow towels, and they're going to wave the hell out of them, no matter if they winning or losing. Right? And the frustration that I heard after the game that they lost to the Houston Texans in the playoffs was alarming. They wanted Mike Tomlin gone. They wanted the GM gone. They wanted to figure out how to quarterback. They wanted Aaron Rodgers gone. A lot of the sentiment was about this particular position. And we are back in this revolving cycle. Here's the problem. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a proud organization that has experienced a tremendous amount of success, that it's hard for them to think that we'll have a bad season. So they stay in the offseason and they try to find a quarterback that can makeshift something, and hopefully they get to the playoffs and try to have some success and reinvigorate something old. We find ourselves again with the Pittsburgh Steelers picking 20th, with no quarterback for the future, a team now, to your point, Babyface, that defense is getting old, which they wanted to hang their hats on by having Aaron Rodgers at 40-plus years old. There's a lot of glaring issues in Pittsburgh, but the one glaring issue that you cannot win without in this league is high-level quarterback play. I'm not talking about competent high quarterback play. I'm not talking about average quarterback play. You cannot win how the Steelers want to win without a high level of quarterback play. And they need to figure out, if that's not going to be a guy that's proven to play at a high level, they got to take swings at quarterbacks out of college and hope one of them can turn into their Dak Prescott.
Swagoo, regardless of whether Aaron Rodgers is there, you would take
regardless,
Simpson.
Hannah.
Okay.
Hannah, the reason why they picking 21 is because Aaron Rodgers was there. The reason why they've been picking late in these drafts is because they've done better than they need to.
Right, they're in no man's land. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you.
Gray area is what I call it.
I wonder if they would let him know, or if they would just pull a Jordan Love and just take him and not tell him. Anyway, that's a whole other story. Let's go to a fascinating quarterback situation with, look who's arriving, Shedeur Sanders. Yeah. Off-season workouts earlier today, and our Browns source says that Deshaun Watson is also reported for the start of the off-season workouts. And prior to taking the Browns head coaching job, our guy Todd Monken spent 7 seasons as an offensive coordinator, the last 3 in Baltimore, where the Ravens ranked 3rd in total QBR. Lamar Jackson, of course, mostly under center there. And in his previous stops with Tampa and Cleveland, his offenses were middle of the pack in QBR. It was Jameis Winston. It was Baker Mayfield. Shregs, I guess the question is, who's going to actually be the starting quarterback for the Browns?
I like that Mel is up here because he'll like my answer,
Yeah.
I think. I was talking at the league meetings with Todd Monken, and I asked him about who was there in the building and made some news on Twitter and obviously moved the needle. Shedeur Sanders has been present. He has been there. Dylan Gabriel has not. Deshaun Watson was there early, has not been the last few weeks. But Shedeur Sanders has made a decision to be in Cleveland, to be in Berea, to spend this offseason around the new coaching staff, learning the new offense. Now, you can't actually throw. You can't actually do anything. It's against CBA rules. But for everything he possibly could have done this offseason, Shedeur Sanders has done it to make a good impression. That said, I think it's an open competition between those two men. Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. Deshaun Watson being the giant wild card. We have no idea what we're going to get. He's basically been off the radar and out of football for the last year and a half. And then Shedeur Sanders, who showed flashes last year, but the team investment is just a fifth-round pick. It's not like they're paying him like Deshaun Watson is being paid, and it's not like they gave up what they had to give up to get Deshaun Watson. A fascinating dichotomy of two different guys and a head coach who I think is going to give the ball to the best man suitable for the job.
Yeah, Watson thrown with some of the receivers in Florida. It should be noted, Mel, they got a couple of first-round picks in play. What should their plans be?
I'm with Peter on Shedeur. We all know that, but I think the wide receivers catch the football. Shedeur threw a beautiful ball to Jerry Jeudy against the Bears. Dropped off his shoulder pads, intercepted. So instead of a touchdown pass, it's an interception. Had several of those this year. Some unfortunate plays that didn't go their way because of drops. Harold Fannin Jr., young tight end, became the most dependable, reliable option for Shedeur throughout the season once he took over. You think about Jordan Tyson, what a great talent he is. He is a beast. I know about the durability concerns, but hey, what are you going to do? Hey, once you get in the NFL, you may never have another injury. Carnell Tate, what does he do? He catches everything thrown his way. You got Mekhi Lemon. You got three receivers. Mekhi Lemon plays fierce. Love the kid. Three receivers. So you take one of those. The one guy, left tackle, that's the other key need area. If you get the receiver, left tackle Monroe Freeling, best pure left tackle in this draft coming out of Georgia. I know he only started 17 games, but he only had 1 year as a starter this past season. But in pass pro, outstanding. Run blocking needs to improve, but I'll tell you what, with his size, his length, he looks the part of a great left tackle. If he starts sliding, if you get the receiver and he slides, you trade up and try to get him. How about Caleb Lomu? Peter had Spencer Fano going at 6, right? His teammate, the left tackle, Caleb Lomu, get some weight on him, get him stronger. He could be a heck of a left tackle. So how they finesse this left tackle wide receiver need with 6 and 24 is going to be, I think, one of the most fascinating aspects of round one.
I don't see them going Ty Simpson. And that's interesting because Swagu's saying Pittsburgh should swing the bat at 21 and take him. I don't think he's taken at 6. I don't think he's taken at 24. And my feeling, just from talking to sources in Cleveland, this is a long-term build. And if the quarterback isn't there at 6 or 24 that they absolutely love, there is a great quarterback class that's coming in at 2027. And in the meantime, we have Watson and Shedeur. Let's see if one of those guys can win the job. So I don't see Cleveland as a Ty Simpson team, despite the fact Todd Monken knows Jason Simpson, Ty Simpson's father, from years of coaching. Ty Simpson's dad has been the coach at UT Martin since 2006.
Wow, little 6 degrees of separation.
There we go.
That's the kind of information you get from Schrags here, right? Right, Mel? Man, after taking
mocks, and yet that is my selection. And from what I'm hearing, Jets want a guy who could play right away on defense. And this is the most polished pass rusher in this draft, had 15 sacks last year. It would be either him or Arvell Reese. And Reese, of course, outstanding out of Ohio State, but might be more of a projection pick and might not be as polished as the pass rusher. Again, Hannah, these things can change a lot. It's just a mock draft. It's not a sure thing. But as of right now, I have the Jets going David Bailey over Reese, which leads to number 3. I've got Reese going to Arizona, where he would join former Ohio State talent Marvin Harrison out there in the desert. And the two of those would be teaming up to try to build the Mike LaFleur era of the Arizona Cardinals. Again, a fantastic player in college and one with a huge upside. Arizona's defense was horrendous last year. And when you're facing the Rams offense, the Niners offense, and the Seahawks offense 2 times a year, you better have a pass rusher. They don't have that at the moment. The number 4, a lot of people's favorite player in this entire draft, Jeremiah Love. I have him going number 4 overall to the Tennessee Titans, joining Cam Ward to start the new era of the Robert Saleh, Brian Daboll version of the Tennessee Titans. New stadium, new look, new uniform, and a new running back that has been an issue for the Tennessee Titans for many years since Derrick Henry left. Jeremiah Love. This is very rich for a running back, but he is a rare prospect. I have him going 4th overall to Tennessee.
New stadium, you got to sell tickets,
yes,
right? And he is box office. Okay, let's talk to the godfather of the mock drafts. These things would not even exist if it were not for Mel Kiper Jr. So, Mel, why don't you weigh in on Peter right there at number 4? What do you like there?
I agree with Peter. Jeremiah Love, there's a lot to love and like about Jeremiah Love because he doesn't do anything wrong. He doesn't fumble. He catches the ball. You can move him out wide. You can do anything you want. He can hit the 70-yard run for a touchdown. He become Tony Dorsett, hit a 99-yarder. He can do everything you want. Great young man. He would certainly help Cam Ward get to that franchise level, which we think and know he can become. So this is a dilemma right here. Do you take Jeremiah Love to help Ward? Do you help the defense keep getting better with that Fred Warner type of player in Sonny Styles? That's what I debated. I don't know what Peter did, but I was Styles Love. I went with Jeremiah Love. Then I was told, guys, that I was wrong by Adam Schefter that it's not going to be Jeremiah Love. It's a little too high for Love. That maybe 7 for Washington. So we'll see how it all shakes down. Right now, I completely agree with Peter on this. You get the best or second best player, in my opinion, at 4. That's what you want.
Okay, so this comes down to an argument that I think we have pretty much every year now when there's a premier running back. It's just positional value. And if you look at some of the running backs that have been taken in the top 10 in recent drafts, as a matter of fact, pretty much all of them except for, if you want to make it the top 12, you can. Jahmyr Gibbs, who went to the Lions, and that was unique circumstances. That was a pick they acquired from the Rams as part of the Matthew Stafford trade. Running backs have not influenced further winning after going as high as some of the guys like Bijan Robinson, Ashton Genty have. As a matter of fact, the Falcons have had a bottom 13 record in each of the 3 seasons in which they had Bijan Robinson on their roster. Does Tennessee feel like they are close enough to actually icing the cake and acquiring that icing in Jeremiah Love, or are they still early enough in the process in a division that has 3 teams that think they are going to be legit AFC contenders next season in Houston, Jacksonville, and Indianapolis, that they say, we have to attack a position that's just harder to find elite players at, whether that's a pass rusher, which in Peter's mock, neither of Arvell Reese or David Bailey was available, maybe a player like Sonny Styles, not that off-ball